which Spice Girl can carry the most petrol? Jerry can.
Hi guys, hope you're doing well. So for those of you that follow the channel, you will know that I have a Taycan. It is an EV, and of course I do most of my charging at home and at work. I'm currently sat at home with 20% battery, and I could just plug it in, but this is YouTube, so let's try something potentially a little bit silly and see if I can get it to Cobham M25 services and plug it into one of the Ionity chargers. It should be possible. The nuclear tank says I've got 45 miles left, and there are about 20 miles in the trip. So fingers crossed we should be all right. But I am going to be exposed to one of the worst stretches of motorway known to mankind. That is, of course, the M25 between junctions 12 and 10, where people often go to die. King Henry VIII is still seen roaming, and there are about 8,455 crashes a day because people need to get off their mobile phones. But let's see if we can do it. Now, the PCM says I should get there with 10% battery remaining. Will that hold up true? How accurate is it going to be? Let's put the PCM to the test here. Might end up by the roadside. I could make it there with plenty to spare. My experience is that it's been pretty good. So, fingers crossed that'll hold up. Let's crack on with the trip and see how we get on. Wish me luck.
Okay, the trip is in full swing, and I've just had a message pop up on the dash there saying, please check range. So, yeah, we have to keep an eye on the range. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do about it. I'm committed. I have to get to the service station in order to be able to plug this thing in and charge it up. But of course, the first thing that I've noticed here, the first frustration with this is power is very much throttled. And I've spoken about this before in other videos. When you get low on battery, and there's no kind of exact figure, it just decides, dependent on how hot the battery is, how much temperature you've got in the battery, and I guess a number of other factors as well. But right now we are hobbled. We've got about 50% of the power that we would. And, you know, if you're getting low on range, you shouldn't be flooring it, right? I think the power I'm getting, if I just get this up on the dash here, I'm currently getting about 45 kilowatts per 100 miles, which is okay, right? And, you know, if you're getting low on range, I'm currently in range mode. Regardless of what mode I'm in on this dial here, I don't have full power, right? You don't get that in a gas car, right? You get down to a quarter of a tank, you still got all your horsepower. You can still smash it should you want to. You really can't in this, so you could argue that the full fun range is restricted in a Taycan, right? And I think it's pretty good in terms of how much it is using power-wise at this kind of speed. Now, I'm in range mode doing 70 miles an hour. I think from what I've seen and from what other people have said, right, the Taycan is pretty good if you sort of keep it around 50 to 60 miles an hour on a nice, gentle cruise, right? You really do get good range, probably beyond what it advertises. But we took this round Silverstone, right, when you're going very fast for a lot of the time, and it absolutely drank the electrons. I've never seen the battery disappear so quickly, to the point where I was a little bit sad, really, that my Silverstone day was cut short. So in range mode, you have a little bit of a change in terms of what you can do on the aircon as well. You have Eco Plus mode, and Eco Plus mode is completely fixed. You can't set the temperature, and you're pretty much governed by what it does. And I find that Eco Plus is a bit of a struggle in terms of sometimes keeping the windows clean, etc. In terms of condensation, we're winter now. It's about 12 degrees outside, so it's not too bad, but not kind of ideal, really. I think Eco Plus, Eco mode, I think just disables all resistive heating, so that heating element is disabled, and you use heat from the heat pump to heat the water to keep everything warm, right? So that is something to bear in mind here. I need to get over. I'm now on that dreaded stretch of the M25. I need to get over to the outer lanes here. Not because I'm one of those drivers that just pulls over into the outer lanes. There are huge roadworks going on at the A3 M25 junction, if you know the area, and you get queues on the left hand side. So just moving over now. But where are we in terms of the trip progress? Right, so let's have an update. I am a little bit into the trip now. Let me see where we're at. I'm down at 12% battery. Currently down at 12% battery. If I look at my map here, it thinks I'm going to arrive at the service station, Cobham Extra, with 9% battery. It did say 10%, so you could argue that it's kind of getting it about right. And it seems to be holding up. I am getting warnings though saying that I'm getting low on range, but let's see how we get on. I'll update you further when we get there, but so far looking good. And range anxiety, I don't have any at the moment because I'm doing this as a bit of a science experiment. I don't really need to be anywhere, but I can understand if you had a long trip or you were going to a job interview or seeing a relative or maybe going to see someone who was ill or something, you know, that you could really start to have to worry about this kind of thing, you know, really planning your trip so that you can plug in, charge when necessary, and ensure that you're making the journey, you're making the destination. So anyway, I'll update you when we get there. Let's see how we go. Hopefully there'll be some chargers free. Okay, quick update. We have 4 miles to go. There's the lovely traffic that I spoke of earlier for the A3 junction. 4 miles to go, 10% battery. It reckons I will get there with, all going well, 8% battery. I've got 20 miles of range left. This is the lowest I've ever had it in the car. It's the lowest range I've ever gotten to, I think. Yeah, pretty much. I'm normally pretty diligent about ensuring I've got enough juice for the trip, but I wanted to try a real world experiment, see what this thing is like when you start to get low on range, when you start to get close to the wire. Is it a bit nerve-wracking? It is a little bit. The problem is if one of these things dies, it's a bit of a pig to get going again. You have to get a recovery out to get it taken away, or you have to get a car out with a generator on it that can plug it in and get it back to 5-10% so that you can get to another charger. So it is a bit of a pig. It's not like with a fuel car when you can just go and get a tank of gas, a jerry can, and fill it up. We're doing all right. 9% battery now. Hopefully I'll roll in and we'll have to wait and see how many free charges there are there. I think there's 14 or so now, I can tell by ZapMap. I think there was about 8 there last time, I think, or less, but let's see how we get on. Incidentally, the adaptive cruise control in this is really very good. I use it a lot down the motorway, I really do, and it just kind of gives you that extra security blanket as well, should your attention drift momentarily. We're probably all a bit guilty of that sometimes, all right? Just keeps an eye on the car in front of you, but we are just about to roll in to Cobham M25 Extra services. 8% battery, again, the lowest I've ever seen it. It's getting a little bit exciting now, I'm not going to lie. Hopefully the chargers are working. If not, then we could be in for a fun time, but I think we should be good. Fingers crossed. How exciting! 8%. I know people have had it a lot lower than 8% as well. I've seen on forums, you know, people getting back to their driveway with sort of 2%, you know. And if you got any stories about running out, whack them in the comments. It's kind of good to hear. What happened? What was the recovery like? Was it a painful process? Share the experience, please. It's very much appreciated. And by the way, if you follow the channel, if you subscribe, huge thanks for doing so. As I say, I'll try and keep the content coming as much as I can. Right, we're coming into Cobham Extra. How very exciting. I don't think this car's ever been as pleased to see a charger as it is now. Just got here and there are definitely a few more chargers installed, a lot more than last time. Last time it was just that babe there, but now we've got 2 extra there, 2 here, and another 6 there. So no one queuing as well, no one queuing for Ionity. This is good, this is progress, this is kind of what we need if we are to be successful at this, a bit more in terms of charging infrastructure, and these chargers are very good indeed. So here we go. It is all working beautifully, and a bit of a schoolboy error on my part there. Yes, indeed, a schoolboy error. My Porsche charging service had renewed,
but I hadn't activated it because I never use it. I charge at home or I charge at work, right? So there's just never really a need. So what I had to do is scan the barcode on the Ionity charger on the app, and it all kicked into life, but seamlessly, right? I'm sure once it's all replicated and my activation goes through, it'll all work. The plug and charge service will work again, and the RFID card that I get sent will work again. But really, really impressed. And this Ionity station is really good. There's not queues of people waiting to use it. We have some, let me just spin this around here. Got some free bays there, so you know it's not a nightmare here, right? Queues of people. I'm sure at peak times it probably get a little bit, but we've got additional chargers, as I said. And we're getting a really nice, healthy rate here, right? I have this throttled down. I have a tick box selected to look after the battery, basically to protect the battery, so it doesn't allow crazy rates of sort of 250 kilowatts should they be available, because that does put a bit of strain on the battery here. We started at 7%, we're already up at 41%, so it is working really well indeed. And I have to say, the shining star here for me, just turn that back around again, has been the PCM system, right? The accuracy of the PCM system. That is absolutely crucial. I cannot stress that enough, right? It told us how much range we had and how much charge we'd have when we got to the destination, very accurately, I would say, right? If it wasn't accurate, you could be in a situation where it says, yeah, you're going to get to your destination 8%, you end up running out of battery halfway along your journey, which would be an absolute nightmare in an EV, just not a position you want to be in. So, you know, challenging having minimum range in a Taycan, but as long as it's giving you accurate representation about what you've got, that is good, right? We can't argue with that. So yeah, I'm very impressed with that. That was the key thing here. Was the PCM going to be accurate? Would we be able to get to this fast charger and plug in? We've done that. It is all working successfully, and we're in a very good position. I'm going to have to wrap this video up now because it's getting a bit dark. Luckily, this little gizmo here is really good in low light, which is fantastic. But really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subbed, please do. Why haven't you subbed? If you have, massive thanks as always, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.